Hey, what is up, everybody? Today we're going to talk a little bit about AI. Yes, I know it's a bummer, but we're not going to just touch on the same things that you can hear all over the internet. We are mainly going to be talking about how are we going to regulate AI, because I'm starting to feel like it's bricking people's brains. They don't know what's real and what's not anymore. It's starting to really mess with people's heads. So first, let's do a quick look at what are some of the other problems of AI, and then we'll get into what are we going to do about the main problem that people can't tell what's real and what's not anymore. It's happening. It's really happening. I'm not sure if you've seen some of the videos coming out with Sora and some of the newest video creation models that are coming out, stealing a bunch of IP, and the videos are pretty high quality. It's getting hard to tell if you're looking at AI or not. So yes, I think there's going to have to be some boundaries in place on the way that people could monetize and share this content if we're not going to just end up with a society that doesn't believe anything that it sees. So first off, let's talk about the AI bubble. You've probably heard different people in different corners of the internet talking about the AI bubble. Just like many other bubbles, they call it that because once it pops, the valuation is going to crumble. So here's an example. OpenAI is valued at $500 billion. That's the makers of ChatGPT. But the company is only projected to make $13 billion in revenue in 2025. That's quite a disparity. So you could say potentially that it's overvalued. So if a lot of these different AI and tech companies are overvalued and then suddenly the investors are not interested, then we're going to see a big collapse in different sectors of our economy. So that's one of the problems that people keep talking about. Another one that people keep talking about, and this information is coming out of Stanford, is that AI consumes so much water and so much electricity. So in Arizona right now, or this is halfway through the year, it could be even more right now. In Arizona, they were using 7.4% of the state's power. In Oregon, they were using 11.4% of the state's power to make this AI data center stuff so that they can, I should say these AI data centers, so they can process massive amounts of data so that they can give you the AI that you're used to using, right? So are we really going to give 10% of our resources to make this AI crap that actually doesn't really seem like it's benefiting us all that much? So that's another huge problem that a lot of people have been bringing up. And don't you remember them always telling us, like, oh, let your lawn go brown, and oh, you can't waste water, and turn off the water when you're brushing your teeth? That's all good stuff, right? But how come it's always pushed on the individual, that the individual has to moderate everything that they're doing, but then when it comes to these huge corporations, they get away with murder? And we'll be looking at some more perfect union videos in the future where they're talking about some of the data centers that have been getting built that are just completely out of line. Massive things, consuming insane amounts of energy and water and producing tons of pollution, ruining the local environment for the people that live there. All right, here's another interesting thing most of you probably heard about that happened way earlier in the year. This is from January. Trump announces a private sector $500 billion investment in AI infrastructure, I should say. So $500 billion going to these AI companies to basically create a surveillance state. And so far, they've already been using this. Like ICE has been using a lot of this surveillance technology from third parties. You can see some cool videos. I think Ben Jordan has a really great video on that. You can look that up on YouTube. Maybe I'll link it if I find a way to do that. But yeah, so we're sinking a ton of money into this AI stuff, both with the government and just venture capitalists and different investors. And the bubble could pop, and it's consuming a ton of power, a ton of electricity, a ton of water, making a ton of pollution. I don't know, man. It's not looking like AI is this great thing. So now let's just talk about how people's brains are getting absolutely bricked by the AI content that's going all over the internet right now. And this is what I think. It's not a solution. All these problems that I just discussed, this is not a solution for those things. I think that's a bigger problem that we need to address as a society if we're going to continue to be using these things. Honestly, I feel like there needs to be more pressure on these companies to be self-sustaining with the amount of energy and resources and the pollution that they're creating. They need to be like a closed loop, handling their own crap, basically. But essentially, do you remember back when we had VHS and DVD and they would have that FBI warning? I remember seeing that thing thousands of times in my youth. It flashed before every movie. We kind of need something like that for AI content, both in short form and in long form, but particularly in short form, it's all over the place. Excuse me. It needs to be where if somebody's going to be watching AI generated content, a big red flash needs to say AI generated before the video. I know it'll be such a distraction from you just enjoying your slop content on a never-ending Rolodex scroll, right? But people are seeing stuff and they don't even know. And then other people will see something that is real and they'll go, that's not real. And then you question, wait, is it real? And there's like a little watermark maybe, but it disappears. And you can even remove the watermark if you have the paid version of some of these AI video generating apps or programs. So it really is kind of messing with people's heads. We need to have a way to know for sure this is AI. And we need to have things that say that on every video that is using that before it plays. And there also, I feel, needs to be some restrictions with the monetization of AI slop content in particular. I mean, if you're using AI to make content versus if the content is completely AI derivative, if it's not original content, if the scripts are basically stolen, that's the other thing. The ethical nature of this is that it's just stealing stuff that's all over the internet. And I want to share information freely. I've always wanted to share information freely, and now less people want to share information freely because they think it's just going to get hoovered up by one of these data centers and then fed into a bot to then paraphrase their information poorly to a person. Okay? So we have to do something, in my opinion, to at the very least warn people when they're watching AI so that they can know this isn't real. Because I especially think the older people and the younger people, they don't know. The younger people have never seen anything different. They're like, oh, I don't even really believe videos because it could be fake. And the older people, just look at what they're doing on Facebook. I think we all know. They don't know what's going on. So let me know what you think in the comments, and if you've got any other solutions on what we could do. I know that it's really just a simple thing, but I think it needs to happen sooner rather than later. Just really putting a flag on all of this content so that people know. And honestly, they shouldn't be pushing it in the algorithms because there are actual creators that want to make content and put it out there as well. So I think we really have to see something from these social media companies, from YouTube. They got to do something to let people know, hey, this ain't real. All right, let me know what you think. Peace.